Developmental testers at Edwards Air Force Base in California have completed testing on the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor's Increment 3.2B upgrade. The new configuration will significantly boost the stealthy fifth-generation air superiority fighter's already fearsome air-to-air capabilities. As part of the final hurdle, F-22 Raptors assigned to the 411th Flight Test Squadron launched inert AIM-9X Sidewinder and AIM-120D AMRAAM air intercept missiles against multiple BQM-167A subscale aerial targets on April 18 over the Utah Test and Training Range, UTTR. The test marks a significant effort along the 3.2B developmental test and evaluation upgrade timeline according to the Air Force. The shots at UTTR were the graduation live-fire event of a 2-year-long 3.2B upgrade, Lieutenant Colonel Randall Gordon, commander of the 411th FLTS, said. The achievement of those shots is a huge technical accomplishment for the 412th Test Wing and 411th FLTS. The live missile shot was a particularly difficult and technically challenging event that was named after Chuck Norris, a 1980s-era action movie star. We saved the best for last. This was the Chuck Norris shot, Gordon said. It was really a technically challenging shot and a graduation shot following 2 years of hard work. I'm deeply proud of these people in my squadron who made this happen. Right double quotation mark. The Increment 3.2B hardware and software upgrade is one of the most significant improvements to the Raptor since the jet became operational in December 2005. Most significantly, the Increment 3.2B upgrade includes full AIM-9X Block 1 and Block 2 integration onto the Raptor. The current Increment 3.1 Upgrade 5 configuration only offers rudimentary AIM-9X Block 1 capability where the pilots see AIM-9M symbology in the cockpit. Increment 3.2B fixes that problem with the Common Weapon Employment Zone and adds the new AIM-9X Block 2. The upgrade also includes the latest AIM-120D version of the venerable AMRAAM, which offers 50% greater range than previous versions of the weapon. Together, the upgrade greatly boosts the Raptor's air-to-air prowess. Additionally, the Increment 3B upgrade adds an Enhanced Stores Management System, ESMS, for better future weapons integration and employment improvements. It also significantly enhances the Raptor's intra-flight data link, IFDL, and adds much better electronic protection measures. Other improvements include greatly improved the emitter geolocation capability for the Raptors and ALR-94 electronic support measures suite. Increment 3.2B is scheduled to enter operational testing in the fourth quarter of this fiscal year, theoretically this July and August. It should start to be fielded operationally with frontline squadrons late next year. The addition of the AIM-9X helps to address one of the Raptor's few deficiencies. Due to budget cuts in the late 1990s, the Air Force deferred AIM-9X integration and deleted the F-22's planned helmet-mounted cueing system. Full AIM-9X integration greatly enhances the Raptor's already formidable within-visual range dogfighting capabilities. Even without a helmet-mounted cueing system, the AIM-9X is far more capable than the antiquated AIM-9M. But to fully exploit the outer edges of the new high off-bar side capabilities of the new Sidewinder variants, the Raptor will need a helmet-mounted cueing system. Air Combat Command hopes to procure such a system for the Raptor that, if all goes well, should be fielded in the early 2020s.
off of, the Claxton, or if not, I'm going to start in about 15 minutes. All right.
In the event a war were to break out on the Korean peninsula, American air power would play a key role. Initially, the burden would likely fall to the Pentagon's fleet of stealth aircraft, including the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor, F-35 Joint Strike Fighter and the Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. The U.S. Navy, too, would likely have to play a role using its surface warships and submarines to launch waves of Tomahawk cruise missiles to target North Korean air defenses and command and control assets. However, American forces would have to move quickly to take out North Korea's retaliatory strike capability, both its nuclear forces and its conventional artillery forces that could lay waste to Seoul. That's ultimately the problem for American military planners during any potential preemptive strike against North Korea. How does one eliminate Pyongyang's nuclear forces without risking a retaliatory strike that would leave thousands of South Korean and Japanese civilians dead? Indeed, if some of the worst-case scenarios play out, North Korea could potentially even strike back at the American homeland with a nuclear-tipped intercontinental ballistic missile. If the Trump administration were to strike at North Korea, stealth aircraft like the F-35 would have to eliminate North Korean air defenses quickly. Pyongyang does not have the most modern of air defense systems. The threat mostly comes from the sheer volume of older Soviet-built systems it has available to it. However, while the bulk of North Korea's air defenses are antiques, it does have some potent newer weapons available, including its own indigenous KN-06 clone of the Russian S-300. Vasily Kashin, a senior fellow at the Center for Comprehensive European and International Studies at Moscow's Higher School of Economics, who is a specialist on Asian matters, told Twontamban earlier this year that South Korean sources have written that the KN-06 has been successfully tested. The weapon is thought to have a range of up to 150 kilometers. No one knows exactly how many such systems exist. The KN-06 has phased array radar and tracks via missile guidance system and may be equivalent to the early S-300P versions but with greater range, Vasily told Twontamban. But air defenses are less of a problem than targeting North Korea's artillery pieces, which are dug into hardened positions, that are aimed at Seoul. Indeed, even without its nuclear-tipped missiles, dug-in conventional North Korean artillery could leave Seoul devastated within only a few hours. Any successful attack on North Korea would have to eliminate those threats before they could level Seoul, but that is easier said than done. Between 1950 and 1953, the U.S. Air Force and Navy flat-trimmed North Korea, so the Norks have had 65 years to think about how to make sure that does not happen again and dig lots of bomb-proof shelters and tunnels, retired Rear Admiral Mike McDevitt, a senior fellow at the Center for Naval Analyses, told Twontamban Channel earlier this year. Indeed, as Jerry Hendricks told to Twontamban Channel, any airstrike would have to hit their targets simultaneously while Aegis missile defense ships stood ready to shoot down any North Korean ballistic missiles headed towards South Korea and Japan. In all likelihood, it would begin with lightning swiftness with overwhelming attacks on key targets to include the thousands of emplaced artillery pieces that overlook the South Korean capital of Seoul, nuclear weapons storage facilities, nuclear launch vehicles and integrated air defense systems. These attacks would be conducted with near simultaneity, Hendricks wrote. While these attacks are ongoing, Japan-based U.S. Navy ballistic missile defense cruisers and destroyers as well as ground-based theater high-altitude aerial defense systems will use their long-range radars to identify and shoot down North Korean missiles as they launch. Success, however, is not guaranteed. Any sort of attack on North Korea would be a gamble with the lives of thousands if not millions of South Korean and Japanese lives. As such, a diplomatic solution is far more preferable to a war than might end poorly.